Welcome to all you Aries people. Here is your general horoscope en général, in general, for Aries people. People who've got an Aries ascendant, people who've got a sun in Aries, and actually also moon in Aries. I have moon in Aries as well. And it relates to the moon as well, if you listen to those horoscopes. What is going on in 2017? Well, general, I mean, all the signs, it seems like it's a bit less challenging than last year, less challenging aspects. For the fire signs, and you're one of them, Aries, together with Leo and Sagittarius, there's a fantastic aspect going on between two biggies, two big planets, Saturn and Uranus, which is for Leos fantastic, for Sagittarians fantastic, and last but not least for Aries it is fantastic to have that. So I'm going to explain that. But mostly important, it's the Venus retrograde in your sign of Aries, so which puts a lot of emphasis on you, which puts a lot of emphasis on your honesty, your truthfulness, your integrity, and of course indirectly relationships. So let's break this down. Let's get started with this beautiful aspect between Saturn and Uranus. So you feel it the whole year, but it is very strong in May and November. I think I already mentioned it in December horoscopes of 2016. This is Saturn still in Sagittarius the whole year. It will still be in your 9th house, and it's shifting to Capricorn on the 21st of December. So I'm not going to talk about that. Happens at the very end of the year. But this Saturn that is trying to really stabilize your perception, your point of view on life, your maybe some learning situation that you had, or you learning something new. You really structuring your perception, your vision upon life, your philosophy. And that might have been not always easy last year, because Saturn was quite challenged there with Neptune and Jupiter and so on and so on. This year it trines Uranus in your sign. And this is great for you Aries people. Why? Because sometimes if you've got Uranus in your sign, it is sometimes not easy because you always feel like an outsider with Uranus in your sign. Uranus wants us to be innovative, wants us to be progressive, wants us to stand out in the crowd, wants us to not follow the crowd, wants us to, nothing do mainstream, So Uranus in your sign, and you are an Aries, you're trying to get as much freedom as you can, but sometimes you're not really always understood because of that. And this is going to change, because this Uranus, which is all about innovation, which is all about liberty, and it's in your sign, so you are liberating yourself in a great way, because you're not tolerating the jobs that you don't want to have or that you don't want to do. You don't tolerate the people or in relationships where they are manipulating you. You don't tolerate this anymore. And that can create a bit of instability. But now when it trines Saturn, the planet of stability, the planet of equilibrium, or the planet at least of integrity and responsibility, it makes it easier. It makes it easier. It's like there's a balance between how you see the world and how you sense it, so to speak. So it will make you less restless this year. You're going to be less restless. You're going to be less impulsive. And it's not going to feel as it restricts you. It may sound a bit weird, but that's the aspect. Now, what else? What else? This Venus retrograde. So this is approximately March up until June time. That Venus goes once every 2 years retrograde, and it's in your sign now that it goes retrograde. This is huge, because this means that you are shifting not only the perception of you, what you are all about. It's going to be very open, very honest. That's the Venus in Aries. I want this, I want that. But it's also about how you relate to others. The seventh house, so to speak, where Jupiter is. Jupiter is for the whole year in your seventh house. It shifts into your eighth on the 11th of October. So the big chunk of the year is that Jupiter expansive energy when it comes to relationships. So people who you're going to meet, new people who are very significant for you, or even a new relationship coming up for you, it's going to be significant and very important for your future development. That's for sure. But with Venus in your sign going retrograde, there could be a reality check when it comes to relationships. So for instance, let's say you're single and you're dating, and around March, May, June time, in the beginning you may think, I don't think he or she is something for me. And then when the retrograde is over, you see the real person and you say, he or she is better than I expected. Could also be the other way around, that you are the typical Venus in Aries, which is super enthusiastic in the beginning. And then a couple of months later, you see the reality and you think, it's not right. There's nothing wrong with it, you know. It's better you see it in the beginning than you're doing this for years and years and years and being very unhappy. So it's better. When you are in a relationship, this could also mean a shift for better or for worse. Let's say you are in a relationship where you feel that you are not being able to be authentic, then it's not gonna work anymore for you. Because Venus in Aries is so honest, especially when it's going to touch Uranus and when it's going to touch Jupiter. The planets that are really tricky here, they can, of course, Jupiter is a very positive planet, but it can exaggerate. So you can really see the flaws here when things are not going well, and changing your mind about a relationship. Again, for better or for worse, maybe you are in a relationship that you thought wasn't so good, and because of some things occurring around March, April, June, you're saying, hey, he or she, it's not so bad after all, you know. So there is like a big emphasis on you and important people in your life for sure. What about work? Well, Pluto is still in your 10th house of work, and for the whole time, for the whole year. So that's not going to shift. But the thing that shifts here is that it squares up to Jupiter in your 7th house. So, and it's also related with Jupiter indirectly then with Uranus. What it means is the following, that you could work together with someone that you know very well, so business partners. Be aware that you're not doing everything. In a business relationship, again in relationships general, that that authenticity and manipulation is excluded. Manipulation is excluded. So this will come to the surface, you know, if someone boss is trying to manipulate you. I've talked about that in December horoscopes of 2016 as well. So again, a lot of truthfulness coming up with work. So maybe some skeletons coming out of the closet there when it comes to work. Maybe a reorganization when it comes to work. But there is also help from others. So and that's nice. That's nice to have. Then the eclipses are happening in Leo and in Aquarius, which is nice for you, Aries. You know, it's happening in Leo is for you the 5th house of self-expression, the 11th house of friends. So there could be some new friends coming in, old friends going out who are not important for you anymore. Not that they are bad, but just not really working anymore. A new romance could set in around February or August, because then the eclipses happen in the house of where a relationship starts, so it could mean that. The Mercury retrograde is not that important for you. It's so I'm not gonna be talking about that, and I think I said the most important. Yeah, Jupiter, as I said, shifts into on the 11th of October in Scorpio, so that's a bit more deep. and a bit more protective towards your psychological development. So a huge psychological growth can happen there. But that's more for October, November, December time. Trining Neptune as well in your 12th. So it's quite spiritual, that aspect. Not that it's not during the whole year, but there's a lot of growth, spiritual growth possible around the end of the year. So, having said that, a lot of emphasis on you with the Venus retrograde, a lot of reality checks when it comes to relationships, and when it comes to work, a possibility to do really authentically and being an authority as well, with Pluto there in your 10th house. So if you have a very bossy, it's not going to work either. But it doesn't mean to say that you have to work for your own. I mean, it could mean you can work for someone who tolerates that and who believes in you, that without giving you too many guidelines, that you will do well. Having said that, I wish you a very good year, dear Aries people, and thanks for watching, thanks for sharing, and see you soon. Bye-bye.